Good day and welcome to another episode. I am going to talk about being under the weather. And in a specific sense here in terms of being under the weather, because there is, well, first of all, let's talk about what happened so that you get kind of a context here. This is being recorded on November 22nd, 2020, and on November 2nd, I got pretty ill in a weird way, and it lasted for a few days, and then I could feel the side effects from it for several days after that, and then I got really fabulous, and then I caught a cold, which was also very strange. And that lasted for 48 hours, and now I'm pretty much back to normal. But in the meantime, there was a couple of things that occurred from all of that, which is really what my perspective is on in terms of today's video. We, particularly in the transformational / woo-woo community, can get a little hard on ourselves about not be feeling right. And I love and adore, for example, Louise Hay's work in regards to the metaphysical definition and what to, the affirmations or the shift in consciousness that one should take on in regards to whatever seems to be going on. I've always appreciated that. It's been of good comfort to me. Having no connection with her in any way, shape, or form, to make that perfectly clear. But I also know that I can use that type of information as a way of beating myself up, as a way for me not being as perfect as I want to be. And I think that there's a real danger in that. I think that one of the things that is most discouraging about that is not owning our own humanity. We are born into this world, and there's no guarantee any day of the week, any moment in time, that we're going to live what is considered by society a successful life, which is a long life. And I don't necessarily think a successful life is a long life because, for one thing, who am I to judge whether someone had a successful life or not? Things are born and die on this planet every single day. Not just humans, but animals, plants. They all are born and die every single day. It's always going on. And every energy has a different length of time. I know it's very hard, and even for me it's very hard, to see, a baby born and then die. That happened to my mother. And it's hard. It's very hard. And it used to happen a lot more than it does now. It used to be common, quite frankly. And then, some kid that recklessly drives a car and gets killed, that happened to my neighbors across the street when I was growing up. Their daughter was killed in a car accident. And it's horrible. I mean, it's absolutely horrible. And then, you know, I almost died from AIDS, and hundreds of thousands of men and gay men, as well as millions of people of all persuasions, have died from HIV/AIDS. And those are just examples, but everybody has an example. And people say, you know, oh, well, he died so young, or she died before her time, and I can't go there. I just can't go there. I think that there's a bigger magic going on in the world, in the universe, that has a much better and clearer picture of the grand scheme. And, you know, and I've really realized, I've talked about this grand scheme a lot, particularly because of the fact that I had to, the last, I believe, week of videos is all videos from earlier times that I had never published, because I just didn't feel like doing a video. And I will tell you that it's even a challenge for me to do a video today, but I'm doing the video anyways. So I put these judgments on myself. And in regards to things like, well, you know, you got sick, and let's look up the reasons why. And there has to be some sort of vibrational problem going on. And of course, there is a vibrational problem going on. Of course, there is. But that's really not the point. The point is that we use that type of conversation in our head, or even outwardly, to do a few things. First of all, some part of it is justification. Another part of it is to beat up on oneself. But none of it, I think, is ultimately accurate. What I like to really say is it essentially, a really annoying phrase, it is what it is. And I think that I'm better off if I get myself out of the judgment about it all. But then there's this other part, this paradox to it, in which I also ended up talking about is that, well, it is mindfulness, and you are creating your own reality, and I believe that too. I also believe that as well, to a point. Because what that indicates is that we are not influenced by anything on our outside, that we are this self-contained piece of energy that, under the right circumstances and vibrations and all of that stuff, is going to be the perfect human being. And I just don't think that that's the way the game is played. You can't tell me that someone who ends up dying of cancer because they lived near a toxic waste dump is emotionally and vibrationally off. That's just not fair. And if they were just good enough with their connection with Source, then they would be able to live next to the toxic waste dump, which gave a lot of people cancer, and be perfectly fine. Which really means that we're in judgment of their experience, their human experience. You know, one of the things going on here in this country right now, and also throughout the world, but I am a member of the United States, so I will talk about our country. And that is that we are in such judgment of everybody and everything. It's just insufferable how judgmental we are. And I think, now this I definitely believe, what's really going on is that we are so judgmental of ourselves that we're projecting it out. You know, I know it's very Freudian, but I think that it's the case. So, one of the things that I noticed in this 20 days of not feeling well, essentially, was that I was okay emotionally. I did not beat myself up. I was really in a place of inner peace through almost all of it. And quite frankly, I think that's what I should ask of myself, and not be judgmental or even necessarily go and figure out what the metaphysical manifestation is, but just to be okay with how life is unfolding at the moment. And how did I do that? I very clearly did that as the result of the work that I have been doing with Ho'oponopono, which I have talked about many, many times on the channel. I cannot say enough about it in terms of me having inner peace, which I believe is probably the only thing that's of value. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that judgment of self, because it's manifesting itself greatly in exterior wise. You know, people don't write nasty comments on YouTube and Facebook because they are in a good space about themselves. If they were in a good space about themselves, they wouldn't be doing that. It's interesting where this has all gone in terms of me talking just about a very simple subject of being ill. But it does demonstrate the larger picture that I see going on in this world about how judgmental we are, how unwilling we are to own our own humanity. But what's also interesting is that I believe in instantaneous healing. I believe that that's possible. Absolutely. And I know that I have had it. I've had instantaneous healings. I believe it's possible. But if it doesn't happen, I don't want to sit in judgment of myself about the fact that it didn't happen, or that it didn't happen the way that my story wants it to fit. This was, I can tell I'm kind of out of the flow, or at least that's what I think I am. Out of the flow a little bit of my in my YouTube channel, and I want to make sure that I get back into a good flow around it. It's very good to do these every day, regardless of whether the content is as perfect as I want it to be. Because as someone pointed out to me this morning when we were talking about that, the content is the content, and it will, and the right person will be attracted to it. And that I do truly believe. So maybe you're the right person for this one. You know, maybe you're one that is attempting to let go of judgment of self. I think that's probably something that I am, well, I'll take the word probably out of it. I believe that I am really good at assisting people in getting past that type of judgment. If you'd like to contact me for those reasons, cool. And if not, I hope you got something out of the video. I'm just very grateful. I'm grateful for these experiences. I'm grateful for insight. I'm grateful for being human. And I pass that gratitude on to you. Thank you so much for listening. Merci beaucoup. A bientôt.